Hello everybody, this is Marks here, and today we're going to be starting a run-through of Nemo's War. Hello and welcome to Nemo's War. For Nemo's motive, we have chosen the war motive. Nemo has a desire to punish the nations of the world who are displaying some imperialist tendencies. And now we proceed with the first adventure phase. Act 1, Prologue. The facts relating to this apparition, entered in various logbooks, agreed in most respects as to the shape of the object or creature in question, the untiring rapidity of its movements, its surprising power of locomotion, and the peculiar life in which it seemed endowed. If it was a whale, it surpassed in size all those hitherto classified in science. First of all, we roll a die and place the Nautilus in the corresponding major ocean. The Nautilus starts its journeys in the South Atlantic. Now we commence play with the next card, and for the prologue section of the game we will be rolling 2 dice for the placement phase. Ned Land's tempers. Before I could make a single movement to prevent him, the Canadian rushed at the poor man, threw him down, held him by the throat. The steward was choking in the grip of those powerful hands. Alright, it appears that Ned Land's having a bit of a freak out being a captive aboard the Nautilus. So I think we will use the crew to try to calm him down. Alright, we need a 10 for success on this test, and with the crew's help, we'll get a +3 to our die roll. Here we go. 3 + 3 is 6. That is a fail. Alright, some of the crew is lost in the confrontation with Ned. I believe Captain Nemo believes that it's not worth sacrificing any more of his crew or hurting himself to keep old Ned under control. So we're going to have to throw Ned into the brig for the rest of the voyage here. And now the roll for the placement phase. Some hidden ships starting to appear in the Western Pacific and the European seas. The Nautilus gains 4 action points, bringing them to 5, their maximum amount. Captain Nemo wastes no time in his war against the Imperialists. On the horizon, a ship is spotted. orders are given to stock the ship and attack it. It is the British whaler Triumph. Nemo himself will command the attack. With Nemo's command bonus of +2 and the stock attack of +1, we get a total of +3 versus the whaler, which has a defense of 8. Let's see what happens here. Easy win with 8 + 3 is 11. The Triumph becomes the first casualty of the Nautilus in the South Atlantic. And we gain a treasure token, a Bermuda Triangle discovery. Cool. Having cleared the South Atlantic of any imperialist ships, the Nautilus decides to go searching for the treasures of the deep in the Atlantic. The crew are very excited to be pursuing such venture. With the crew's help of +3 to the roll, let's roll our search roll. 7 + 3 is a 10. 10 is a success where we collect 1 treasure. And what do we have here? Oh no, it is a notoriety gain. Seems like the imperialists don't appreciate the Nautilus fumbling around the deep. 2 more notoriety for the Nautilus and its crew. Nothing too serious yet, but the world is starting to have words about the Nautilus. The Nautilus still has 3 action points. They're going to use 1 to move into the North Atlantic here, and they're going to proceed into the busy European seas using another action point. And I believe they're going to do some hunting once again. With its sights set on another ship on the horizon, the Nautilus begins another stock attack of the British freighter Fulmar. The crew is feeling fresh and lively. They will be in charge of the assault on the Fulmar. With the crew's help at +3 and the stock attack marker at +1, let's see how we fare versus the Fulmar. 6 + 3 is 9. Oh, +1 for the stock is at 10. That's an easy sinkage for the Fulmar. The freighter Fulmar is not a well-known ship in the world by any means, but its sinking does raise the notoriety of the Nautilus by a little. The Fulmar is now sitting at the bottom of the ocean in the European Sea. With Nemo's periscope device, he can now make consecutive stock attacks, and if successful, he gains notoriety between each. So I think we will continue our hunt in the seas of Europe. Okay, the next ship to fall into the Nautilus's sights is the British freighter Agamemnon. Once again, the crew will use their zest to add to the power of the Nautilus. Also, let's not forget that we gained a notoriety for the consecutive stock attack. With a total of +4 to our die roll, let's see how the Agamemnon fares versus the Nautilus. 4 + 4 is 8, just enough to sink. And another British freighter sinks to the bottom of the European Sea. Captain Nemo is so proud of his crew right now, he believes that they can continue their success in the seas of Europe. The next potential victim of the Nautilus will be the Clyde, yet another British freighter. The fresh crew of Nemo's has been serving him well. With a total of +4 to the die roll versus the Clyde, the Nautilus once again sinks a British freighter. British shipping has really taken a shit-kicking from the Nautilus this turn. Now, the Clyde was not a well-known ship of the British, so there's no notoriety gain here, but I don't think that's going to stop Nemo from continuing his success of stock attacks here. The Nautilus is already up to 7 notoriety points in its first turn, just coming out swinging Nemo and his crew. Captain Nemo would love nothing more than to clear out the European seas. So its next target will be the British clipper Taitsing. Now, the Taitsing is a little tougher and perhaps speedier than the other ships the Nautilus has had to face, but Nemo has faith in his crew. We got a +4 to our die roll. Let's see how the Taitsing fares against the Nautilus. 7 + 4 is an 11. That is another sunken ship. The Taitsing sinks to the bottom of the Mediterranean. The Nautilus is now known as a danger in the seas of Europe. The Taitsing's loss has raised awareness of the Nautilus once again. Alright, the Nautilus is out of action points. I believe that is the best turn of Nemo's War I've ever had. Moving right along, let's continue into the next adventure phase. A pearl worth 10 million. There, between its leaf-like folds, I saw a loose pearl as big as a coconut. Its globular shape, perfect clarity, and wonderful orient made it a jewel of incalculable value. Carried away by curiosity, I stretched out my hand to take it, weigh it, fondle it. All right, here we have a keep action here. When I'm in the Indian Ocean, I may use an action to search for this pearl. So, cool. Let us roll the dice for the placement phase now. That puts a hidden ship marker in the North Atlantic and in the Indian Ocean, as well as giving the Nautilus 3 action points this turn. So after Captain Nemo and the crew of the Nautilus have cleared out the European seas of what looks like a British freighting fleet, say that 10 times, I'm not quite sure what to do. I think either we will do a search action in the European seas, try and recover that treasure here, or move into the North Atlantic and spread more trouble. Well, while we're here, I guess we'll try and empty out the European seas completely. We'll go for a search action. Doing a search action costs 1 action point, and I think we'll commit the crew to scour the ocean depths to see what they can find. For a search action with the crew, we get a +3 to our roll. Let's see how we fare. 6 + 3 is 9. 9 on the search table results in a success. So what do we got here? We got a retained treasure. X to gain 1 crew, or keep for 3 treasure. Wow, that's actually pretty handy. I like these handy ones. Alright, for the Nautilus's second action, we're going to move into the North Atlantic. And I believe we're going to initiate a stock attack. Another chain of attacks here in the North Atlantic, perhaps. Let's see what comes up. The first ship that comes into the sights of the Nautilus is the famed Cutty Sark, another British clipper. Captain Nemo will commit the crew once again for this attack. This crew is doing so well. With the stock attack +1 and a +3 from the crew, let's see how the Cutty Sark fares against the Nautilus. Not well. 7 + 4 is 11. That is yet another ship sunk by the Nautilus. Alright, another clipper sunk by the Nautilus. And where are all the warships? There's been nothing but civilian ships, man. Come on. We're going to do another successive stock attack for another notoriety gain. Alright, we've been on the hunt for a warship now for quite a while. Where are all these warships? We are fighting imperialism after all. What do we got here? Oh, it is the Syria. Another British. It's a slaver. At least we can take a slave ship out. Nemo's crew is against slavery for sure, and perhaps with the defeat of the ship, they can recruit some new crew members. We have a +4 to our die roll here. Let's see how the Syria fares. Not well. That is a 10, 14 total. Just demolished the Syria and managed to capture some crew in the process. So we gain our wagered crew back once again, and then gain another crew, going from fresh to fresh squared. Excellent. There is still 1 ship traversing in the North Atlantic, and Captain Nemo and the Nautilus's crew intend on sinking it. Another notoriety game. We are almost to the point where we're going to put these ships into the draw pool. Let us see what the Nautilus has discovered. It is the Tinwald, a British mail ship, not a warship. Where are all these darn warships? We'll commit our fresh crew once again. The Nautilus is sure putting the hurt on British shipping this turn, but nothing as far as warships. But they'll be coming, you just wait and see. We get a +4 against the Tinwald here. 10 + 4, 14, another easy destruction. The Tinwald sinks to the bottom of the North Atlantic. The sinking of the Tinwald was a massive loss for the British fleet. 3 notoriety gain. This causes 4 ships to be sent out in search of the Nautilus and put an end to its destructive capabilities. The battleships set out in search of the Nautilus. The Repulse, capital ship from Britain. The Victoria, another capital ship from Britain. The Bellerophon, a battleship from Britain, Bellerophon, okay, and an American steam cruiser, the Idaho. Okay, I think we have time for another quick turn here. Let's draw our adventure card. The Nautilus has uncovered an underwater forest. Captain Nemo invites Professor Aronnax on a hunting trip that will take tomorrow morning in his Crespo Island forests. Interesting. We'll send the crew out with Professor Aronnax and see what we can discover in the underwater forest. Alright, I believe we'll use one of our treasure tokens as well to give us an additional +1 to our roll. Let's see what we got here. We've got a +4 total. Oh yeah, killed it. 12. Excellent. Well, it looks like we've found some treasure in the underwater forest, as well as what looks like a morale boost for Captain Nemo. Rolling for placement now. Undeterred by the fear of the Nautilus, shipping returns to the European seas, and ships continue to travel into the Indian Ocean. The Nautilus gains only 1 action point for this turn. Captain Nemo now intends to incite a revolt in Mexico, thereby lending his support to Mexican independence. Nemo's loyal crew will venture ashore and lend their support to the Mexican freedom fighters. We are making an incite roll here with a +3 modifier. What do we got here? We've got 10 + 3. Oh yeah, 13. Alright, we get to place 1 uprising cube in Mexico, and as well we lose 2 notoriety. I guess the Mexican people now are giving us their favor. Excellent. Nemo's war spreads out of the ocean and onto the mainland, thereby gaining Nemo some popularity with the masses. Alright, I think I'm going to put it into the first episode here of Nemo's War. Just a quick look at the board and a quick review. The Nautilus sure wiped out the North and South Atlantic and the European seas. They did a lot of damage this turn. So far, 8 ships have fallen prey to the Nautilus. Captain Nemo and the crew have collected several decent treasures so far and need to make a visit to the Indian Ocean to collect this gigantic pearl. On the other hand, we did lose Ned Land to his violent temper, and we had to detain him indefinitely on board the Nautilus. This has been Marks with you in episode 1 of Nemo's War. Stay tuned for the following episode, where we'll find out what happens to Captain Nemo, Professor Aronnax, and his trusty sidekick. Thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye.